Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the independent businessman, activist, mentor to the youth, and believer, husband, father, and friends to many, none other than Brother Robert L. Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come have a conversation with us on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast. We thank Allah for you and your family, and we thank you for coming to assist us tonight with this content. The,
Thank you for allowing me, brother. Thank you for inviting me.
yes, sir, the honor is all mine.
Thank you.
The first question that we have for you is, when did you first hear the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Um, Actually, I was in high school. It was I think around 1991. I was in high school and we were in the locker room in football locker room, and it was one of my close friends, dear brother. His name was David Hill.
Okay.
We used to call him the militant midget, even though he wasn't small in stature. He was a big brother, but he was playing a tape of Dr. Khaled. I'm not going to mention the name of the tape on your show, but
Okay.
he was very strong brother, and it was something that I was always, I always wanted to hear in form of preaching or teaching. And it caught my ear, man, because I'm from Rayford, North Carolina, and it's like clan country, you know, down in that area of North Carolina. And
Hmm.
I've always had a desire to see my people uplifted and living like we should live. And to hear Dr. Khaled teaching that strong and saying the things that he was saying, it intrigued my interest.
Hmm.
And later on, that was then, and I joined. I went to barber school in 1993, and lo and behold, it was a brother from the Nation of Islam who was in my class.
Hmm.
Actually, he's now my captain. But we were in barber school in 1993, and they set me up real pretty in there because they already were there and they knew him and I didn't know him. And they asked me the question. They was like, "Well, what's your religion?" I said, "Well, I'm a Christian, man. I'm a Baptist." And I seen everybody leaving from the front of the class. They like left me alone. And I seen this big brother coming from the back. And so we just started talking. He's like, "Yo, you a Christian? You a Baptist or whatever?" But we started talking. And eventually, man, he just said, "I want you to go with me to a meeting." And I went to the meet. We were meeting at a place in Durham, North Carolina. It was called WD Hill. It was a recreation center. And we were meeting in one of those rooms. And man, I joined the first day. It didn't take me but one meeting to go, and I stood on my feet and I said I wanted to join. I wanted to be a part. And that was 1993. I actually got registered February of 1994.
Hmm.
And that was just because Chicago was taking a long time. I was ready to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
man, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Adhering to the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in the direction of the honorable Louis Farrakhan. There's no other man like him on the planet Earth to me. That's in my humble opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion as well. And I thank Allah for choosing me
Hmm.
to be a part of this great nation. I just pray that one day I will be favored in his eyes and doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing and doing it well. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Thank you, Brother Robert. And people are bear witness all around the world. Walaikum salam, Brother Delaney Muhammad, watching from Sonora, Mexico. Kumo Star, everybody who's watching from Mexico. Walaikum salam, Sister Naima. And walaikum salam, Sister Miriam, Muhammad, Naima M, and Immu. Thank you both for covering down and holding it down and we are sending love and thanking you all for everything that you all do on a daily basis as well. May Allah bless you all. All right. So, Brother Robert, you spoke of clan country.
Yes, sir.
Um, do you see him with the sheets or you just know?
Well, I actually had an experience. I had an
Okay.
experience when I was small, when I was young. There was a one, in the hood, you always got this one Caucasian family. And there was a Caucasian family that stayed about two houses behind us. And as a child, I tried to have white friends. I did. I really did. I tried, but it was two particular white boys. I would go to their house and call myself trying to play with them. I guess I was 7 or 8 years old. And I remember one day they made the phone ring. Some way they made the phone ring in their house. And they went in the house. And when they came back out, they came out with uh pillowcases over their head, white pillowcases, and they chased me.
Mm,
So went home, I didn't tell my father because my father's really crazy. And I really didn't want to tell him. But it happened the second time. And I cried. And my daddy caught me and he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I had to end up telling him. So that evening he put on his hat, he grabbed his shotgun, he said, "Come on, walk with me." And my heart is fluttering, man. And so he went to the little white boy's house and he got their father and he got the little boys. And we were all standing at the corner of the street. And he said, "Your sons chased my son with sheets on their head and they had him scared. He was crying." And he said, "If you do it again, I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna kill your sons."
Allahu Akbar.
And I was scared to death. You know what I mean? But lo and behold, that never happened again. That never happened again. That never happened again. But come to find out, I found out later that their father was indeed like a high-ranking member of the KKK. And he also was the supervisor or the manager at the one grocery store that we had. It was called
Mm,
A&P. I don't know if you remember that. It was a grocery store, like a franchise all over America called A&P.
mm.
And he was a top manager there or supervisor. He was somebody in charge there. But yeah, I used to see him all the time, and he always portrayed like he was all right with black people, but he was a high-ranking member of the KKK. So
Mm.
since then I had another white tried to have another white friend, and I was at his house, and I heard his mom. She was using the word nigga so much, like I won't even in the other room. So after that, man, I said, that's it. I'm done trying. And I've been happy nappy ever since.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
and can you let us know your parents' names, sir?
Her name is Mary. Her maiden name is Dockery. Her last name is Singletary. My father, Robert L. Singletary Sr. He transitioned back October of 2024. A few months ago, he transitioned. Very strong man. Thank Allah for my father every day. He really gave me my basic training for the Nation of Islam. And it wasn't hard for me to catch on and follow instructions, hear and obey. Because that's what I've always done all my life, because I had a father who didn't have it any other way.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah, and we thank Allah for the seed of your father in the
Yeah.
womb of your
Thank
mother
you.
for bringing
Yes,
you
sir.
to this earth. Yes, sir. May
Thank you,
Allah
brother.
bless you. Yes, sir. You already know what it is.
Yes.
Okay. So you said the brother you went to barber school with is your captain now. Who? Maybe know
Yes,
him.
sir. Brother Captain Ron Muhammad.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Brother Captain Ron Muhammad, man. He brought me in 1993. I mean, coming from Rayford, North Carolina, I didn't know anybody in Durham. I actually tried to stay with my sister in Raleigh once I was processing. And you know how it is when you young and just joining. I told her she got to take that white Jesus down. Where she said, "Well, it's time for you to, move on and try to find somewhere to stay." So I rented a room in Durham. I rented a room for $75 a month. Didn't have any windows in it, but it was mine. I
Mm,
burned kerosene heaters in it, made it happen, man. But when you join the Nation of Islam, and you start studying the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, stuff like that really don't matter at that time. All you want to do is be a soldier, man. You want to eat one meal a day. You want to sell the final call. Everything that you're supposed to do, that's all you want to do at that time, man. But as you grow, you learn that you come as you are, but you don't have to stay as you are. You progress and you want more and you want to do better. Honorable Louis Farrakhan said we should have the best. And so that's what we strive for. But yeah, I rented a room in Durham and got registered, and here we are 31 years later, man, still here by the grace of Allah. So grateful.
All
So
praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. And salute to Brother Captain Ron. And
yes,
please,
sir.
everybody go back and watch his interviews. I always like to, message with him and tell him, he's the biggest Duke fan I know.
Oh yeah, that's fighting words to him,
Yeah,
man.
he don't like that. He don't like that. But
Yeah,
I'm
that's
because I wanted to go to Duke. I always wanted to play basketball at Duke. So when I see him
right.
on Facebook and he's going every day, North Carolina, Carolina,
You
Carolina,
play
Carolina. I'm
ball,
like, all
brother
right,
Joshua? You play
sir.
ball? You play basketball?
No, sir. I aspired to. I never played. I
Okay.
wanted to. So
All
it's a
right, all
goal of
right.
mine. I played football.
Okay.
I played running back. So,
Yeah, you
but
looking
running
man.
back, you wear the helmet. You ain't getting the girls like. I mean, you get a few. Basketball, they come in there. You
Right,
went to
right, right.
you get
You're
the shot,
right.
man. Jay Williams and all them, man. Please, JJ Redick and all that, man. I'm like, what? Crazy.
Right.
People going, man, what you going to do? Yeah. So I always wanted to have a crowd jumping up, great, all that good stuff. But yes,
I
sir.
just I just learned today his house was one of the houses that burned down too, JJ Reddick.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, I saw that. I saw that on the news. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we had Brother Minister Tracy as a guest at our mosque today speaking, and he mentioned that in his when he was teaching. So I learned that today. I don't take pleasure in that happen to anyone, but he did mention it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, I wanted to ask you about what was the climate like when you joined the nation? Who trained you, and what? Let us know the environment of what it was like in Durham, North Carolina.
Oof. Oh man, it was a little raggedy back then, but you didn't know it unless from the outside we were the strongest thing that was in the city.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But we were like foster children because we were growing, and we may have a captain this week or a study group coordinator. Then we have this brother this week, but we stayed the course, man. And the training back then, it was strong, brother. It was strong. You couldn't really be thin skinned. It was just hear and obey. I see now in Savior's Day where uh you have the men sectioned off in like regions. And like
Yes,
you
sir.
say, you grow into organization. You learn how to organize. But when I came in, it was, I remember Brother David out of Baltimore walking around with that big walkie-talkie on his
Mm,
side about that big. But that brother, I never seen him smile too much. He
yeah.
always took care of business, man. He was the captain in Baltimore then. But the training and the climate of the nation in 93, man, it was very serious. And in
Mm,
94, that's when the minister started doing the all men's stop the killing. So it was like I just got through in because I had a captain. His name was Brother Curtin Muhammad. And Brother John Muhammad in Greensboro was he basically came in and gave us our training.
mm,
Brother
mm.
John, and we were constantly on the road because Brother John was really connected with the regional captain. So I was in hotels with brothers I never seen, 2 and 3 days, one suit, but we stayed clean, we stayed sharp, we stayed fresh, and most of all, we stayed busy. We stayed busy, but man, it was beautiful. You know how when you poor, you don't even know it
Yes, sir.
because love overrides poverty. It overrides that. And back then, man, it was just and still is. It always will be, but it was an honor, man, to be able to hold posts. We weren't really running, I remember at the Million Man March, uh, man, just out of the blue, the brothers came and grabbed. It was like five of us, like boom, it wasn't. it was just brother fall in. And man, I was blessed to be on the stage on the Million Man March with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. And I still go back and watch that YouTube sometimes, man, just to, you know, get some reformation for myself.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm glad
Yeah.
you spoke of the Mean Man March. What was the climate in the city
Yes, sir.
of Durham? But how did it personally impact you, the actual Mean Man March?
Oh man, that was probably the greatest day of my life because not one time did I doubt that it was going to be a million people there. I never had doubt. I never had doubt. And let me back up. Let me back up. I want to thank Allah for your father, brother. Your father, brother Sharif. I mean, every moment with him was a moment of training.
Yes, sir.
Understand me. From DC, when he became the supreme captain, I was blessed to go on a lot of retreats because I was a first officer for years, a lieutenant for years, man. And just to be in the capacity of all of those great men. And your father, he always taught us what was right, and he always taught us how to love one another, the brotherhood. I remember him saying is a cup of coffee could go a long way. And then he would teach us about how, we have differences and just go sit down with the brother and have a cup of coffee. Don't just act like we act in the world. I don't F with him or I don't mess with him. Now, we don't roll like that. That's your brother. That brother may save your life. You may have to save his one day. But I just want to go back and I thank Allah for brother Sharif, man. I really do. That
Praise,
brother, man, he's always been on it.
thank you very much.
Always
Praise
been
be
on it.
to
Yes, sir.
Allah. And I'm sure I'll make sure he hears this and it will mean a lot to him, sir.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
okay, so the Mean Man March, you're there. It's the best day of your life. Why is it the best day of your life?
To see all of those black men, and it was a few sisters out there, but to see all of us together under one banner,
Yes,
under the
sir.
voice, under the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you know, and he's given us it was a day of atonement. It was a day of atonement, and that's what happened on the Washington Mall. We atoned. We atoned with one another. It was a peaceful day, very peaceful day, man. And I think the people they were getting a little impatient as time went on, and a little disrespect came to the other speakers because the people wanted to hear Farrakhan. They wanted to hear Farrakhan. And they didn't mean any harm, but they came for what they wanted to hear. And I thank God for it being a success, man. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. And we love, that's one of the questions I ask each guest who was honored and blessed to be at the May Day March. The videos, the YouTube, it can't fully capture what it is to those of us who weren't able to be there
Right.
and see it. But it looks so amazing. It looks like something I pray that we could ever have anything to get a portion of that type of environment that I can be a part of. So man, that would be great. Y'all are blessed to be at the Meme March, and I pray that in the future we have something very similar or something that has that spirit. Because every
Yes,
time
sir.
I interview people, everybody the way y'all speak about it, I'm like, ah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful, brother.
Praise be to
It was
Allah.
it was 300,000 there at 6 o'clock in the morning, I believe, when we got there.
See what I'm saying?
There
Beautiful.
was people everywhere.
Yes, sir. Now, did the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan ever visit North Carolina?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Before I was a member of the Nation of Islam, if I'm not mistaken, he came to North Carolina Central in 1989.
Mm,
And in 1994, he came to North Carolina Central. I was blessed to be an active member and actually help uh, make that day a success. And it was a very that wasn't my first time seeing the Honorable Louis Farrakhan live and in person because, like I say, I was on the road with the brothers, doing security. But yeah, that he came to Durham. He's been to Durham several times. I remember
mm.
he came one time. He had a meeting with the great singer Shirley Caesar. and we had
Mm.
to cover down on that. And he came back. I can't remember the year, but it was in 2000. It was the early 2000s. He came to North Carolina.
Beautiful. All praises
Durham in
be to the
particular,
Lord.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, we want to know, have you ever been faced with fear? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
Yes, sir. Um, I was faced with fear. The first time that I really experienced real fear was in 1994. Um, I was riding with some lost found brothers. I was actually driving, and long story short, brother got killed, and I ran over him, and I was charged with murder at the time.
Mm.
Uh, until an eyewitness came, which I seen nobody else out there, but it was a young lady that came and actually pointed out who the real gunman was. But that was the first time that I was really faced with any fear, serious fear, because I knew I was totally innocent, and I was faced with a murder charge.
Mm. Yes, sir. Okay, we're gonna stay right there, brother Robert. 147 Savage, always showing love out of Flint, Michigan. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Brother Duke, Brother Kente, Brother Musa, Sister Hope, Sister Auntie, everybody who shows love to people podcast. We appreciate all of the love all around the world. Thank you all. We appreciate you. I wanted to ask you, sir, about so you were you did you get out on bond or did you have to stay in and go to trial? Then the woman testified.
No, I it actually all happened in 24 hours, brother.
Okay, okay.
Before I could go upstairs, the girl came
Mm,
and she said, I know who the shooter was. It wasn't them.
mm.
And they let me go. They let us go. Yes, sir.
So man, and so this is before cameras and all that. So her word that had to be there. So I'm glad that she stepped
Yes,
up.
sir. And I hadn't seen her sister since then.
Mm. Yeah. Well, hopefully she's watching and we bring her on.
Hopefully.
Yes, sir. Okay, we also wanted to ask you. I saw a flyer on Facebook. This is how we got connected because one of my mother's favorite singers goes by the name of Luther Vandross, and my father likes a lot of Luther Vandross songs too. But it was really my mom's. They always singing Luther Vandross songs around the house. I saw a flyer where you having an event
Yes,
doing a
sir.
tribute to Luther Vandross. How did that come about?
Um, it's another brother in the nation, FOI, brother Franklin Muhammad. He's a
Mm,
promoter. He promotes shows, and he's a big time jazz listener. So he wanted to promote a show giving a tribute to Luther Vandross, and he's having it at a historical black building in Durham called the Hayti Heritage Center.
mm.
That's going to be February the 14th. It's two shows, 6 to 8 and 9 to 11. And I don't really know how it came about, but I know he is a fan of jazz and a fan of Luther. And why he picked me, I don't know. I'm not, I don't sing a lot of Luther Vandross, but I'm willing to adapt. And we've been rehearsing, having some deep rehearsals just to try to make it a success and have a good turnout at the event.
As we told right. Yes, sir. We want to stay right there. Thank you, DJ G Smooth. Yes, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you, brother DJ G Smooth. Thank you, everyone who's showing love. Okay, so can you please let Brother Franklin know that just tell him Brother Joshua said, I won't tell ladies. Okay, all right, listen, so
Okay.
it's
Okay. All right, brother Joshua. I tell him, brother.
okay, so Brother Robert, usually when we have artists, singers, rappers, if it's a rapper, we say you got 16 bars for us or something, but if it's a singer, can you give us something to help, promote the event?
Um, if this world were mine, I would place at your feet all that I own. You've been so good to me. If this world were mine, I'd give you the flowers, the birds, and the bees. I can't give you a lot, brother. Not a lot.
Okay. With your love,
See, I have to be standing up to
me.
get it
Okay,
all out, you know.
hey, that's one of my favorite songs of all time. Shout out to the movie The Wood for introducing me to that song. You know what I'm saying? But yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Go ahead, brother. All right, go. Luther's. That's a hell of a challenge to just bust out singing like that.
Yeah, it is, brother. You
Yes,
put
sir.
me
That's
on the spot.
beautiful. And DJ G Smooth says, shout out to Deepak, Durham, North Carolina. So I don't know what that is. I don't know. I didn't know
Deepak.
you. Deepak. Okay, yes, sir. Shout
Yes,
out to
sir.
Deepak.
That's the Performing Arts Center, a big center in Durham. One of
Okay,
the
okay.
largest in the nation, they say. I don't know that to be actual fact, but that's what I've heard.
Well, shout out to Deepak. I need to come down there and get. I'm an actor, so I like to perform. Gotta figure out how we do a play or something in Durham. All right,
Right.
brother. So once again, how can we support? Is it going to be live streamed?
You could actually go on Eventbrite and purchase tickets. But if you're local, I have tickets at my barbershop, and that's 1230 Avondale Drive, Suite 15. Once again, that's 1230 Avondale Drive, Suite 15. I have tickets available. They're $35 a piece, two for 60, four for $100.
Yes, sir. And what can we expect at the event, my brother?
Oh, you're gonna get Duke Jones. Um, Duke Jones is a saxophone player. He's played with several bands that we know of: Atlantic Star, Midnight Star. Brother Majid, he's a violinist, and the Stanley Beard Band. I know you. If you haven't heard of Stanley Beard, he's a big time jazz band director and also musician. We're
Mm.
playing. We're going to be singing with his band. It's just going to be a big night, man. Big night.
Yes, sir. I wish that we could be there, but if you say it's gonna be live streamed, then we'll watch. Inshallah. Now you said Atlantic Star. He used to
Yes,
play
sir.
with them. So are you saying the ones who said, "Girl, you are to me"?
What you know about it, brother? What you know? Like
my
you want?
parents,
I believe
my
you want to
parents,
sing a little bit, brother Josh. We
my
trying to put the
parents.
band back together, man. We looking
Yeah,
for some
yeah, yeah. You
members.
know what I'm saying? My parents, they always play that kind of music. My dad's more the '70s, my mom's more the '80s music. But you know what I'm saying? It's like all of that. That's all we grew up on, was listening to
Yes,
that.
sir.
So we are excited, and I want everybody to implore everybody to make sure that we support our brother and the event. I wanted to also, we have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like,
What it is.
share, and subscription. Thank you all. To the 10,000 subscribers, we're truly grateful. Every person who sends a super chat, every anonymous cash app, we truly appreciate this. Is how the People's Podcast keeps going. So we're grateful for all the support from everyone around the world. We're coming right back to our brother Robert, because we want to hear more about his work in the community. 1 second. People's Podcast. Street Premiere Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. Sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Perfect, perfect. Thank you all, and thank you everyone who was watching. Excellent, man. People are showing love all around the world, and we truly appreciate you all. Yes, sir. So, Brother Robert, um, I, though I have the Cincinnati Reds hat on because I was born in Cincinnati, I like the baseball um, for the jerseys, the hats, the swagger. But I was telling you on the phone, it was not my strong point. I was football,
Right.
fighting, swimming. But in gym class, if you played on the football team, you didn't have co-ed gym. You had to like watch film and do all the male stuff in gym class. And one of the male things was baseball. And so doing something, man, it was horrible. They used to be like, Muhammad's coming up. I couldn't hit. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't figure out the left, the mid. I didn't understand how it was going to be on the weekend, and it was just a lot going on with me in baseball. It was just not my strong point. Uh, but you teach baseball, and how why do you have such a love for it, and how are you able to teach people
I started playing baseball when I was 6.
that?
Um,
Okay,
I just when I started playing it, I loved the game. I liked the game. I liked it a lot, but I had a love for it too. Played baseball all of my life, all of my life. School ball, rec ball, American Legion, Babe Ruth, high school. Actually, I was on the 1990-91 4A state champion team in Hope County. That's in North Carolina. It's Rayford, North Carolina, but it's Hope County. I was a freshman. I got moved up at the end of the season, so I did have an experience. I didn't get a ring, but I did play. But
good, good.
after high school, I broke my ankle my senior year, and I didn't have any intentions on going playing college ball because of the political side of baseball. As being a black man in America at that point in time, there was no need because if you had raw talent and white boy came along and didn't have as much talent as you weren't gonna get the spot uh,
Mm,
in that time. So I didn't really focus on going to college and playing baseball. Um, After that, after high school, it was my baseball career was ending. It was ending after high school because I broke my ankle my senior year, so my speed decreased, a lot of things decreased, and just won't getting a lot of looks like I was getting in terms of my sophomore and junior year. So I really didn't have any plans after high school. I really didn't. College wasn't an option. I wasn't going to college. I didn't want to do that. I guess Allah always had a plan for me because I really didn't even have intentions on going to barber school. However, I started being troublesome, and my before I could really get knee deep into a whole lot of trouble, my grandfather, he decided it would be a good idea since I was already cutting hair to just go to barber school, try that out. My intentions were to go to barber school, come back to my home city because I love my home city. I love where I'm from. I was gonna go back there and just figure it out. However, I went to barber school and ended up joining the Nation of Islam, and that was a whole different ball game. That was it. I didn't even know anything about the Nation of Islam. Heard the tape, but I didn't know the brother was a part of Nation of Islam. But
okay,
we plan and Allah planning.
that's right.
We thank him for being the best of planners.
Beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
so what advice do you give to the young men? Okay, so let's make it racial. So growing up in my time period, Barry Bonds, I still think he's the GOAT, but Barry Bonds was in his prime. He was killing. Then you had, of course, Ken Griffey Jr., but then you had Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire during that time period, and they were hitting home runs and all of that. So now I don't know the landscape of Major League Baseball as far as the makeup of black, Hispanic, white, and all of that. But we had black people who was playing baseball, so it was a big deal. So, but there may be some young black men who say they don't see themselves or the main stars ain't black. What advice would you give to them about still wanting to pursue baseball, even if their main stars aren't black?
The time is now. The
Mm,
time is
mm.
now because Major League Baseball is taking a turn with now the best athletes are black and Latinos, hands down. That's just that's just the truth. When you watch baseball now, it's the Latinos and the brothers.
Okay.
And being that we are the best athletes, it's just that we as parents don't really promote our children to play baseball. And I was guilty. I wasn't too guilty of it, but I always encouraged my youngest son to play baseball, but he just didn't like it.
Mm.
He started playing baseball 2 years ago, and
Okay. Okay.
He got MVP at his middle school last year as a seventh grader. So, I think we just have to promote our children and just sometimes throw them in it. if that's what we like to do with athletics. You know what I mean? If we want our children to just play some, we got to get out of just basketball and football.
I agree.
Now, I didn't say get out of it. I said get out of just basketball and
Yes, sir.
football.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Let them
sir.
play some baseball. Let them play some baseball. Baseball, it requires you to think. Baseball requires you to think. You can be top athlete, but if you can't think, then your athleticism is null and void. It doesn't even matter if you're a great athlete. If you get on the bases and you can't think when it's one out and you're down one run, whatever situation it is, you got to think. What am I to do,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
offensively and defensively? Yes, sir.
Great, great advice. And man, we rooting for your son. We rooting for your son. And, I hope he
So,
continues to win. And what I always tell people is, I'm not a father yet, but I would teach my son, if everybody's like get out the hood or money, I'm like baseball players getting paid. I don't
yes,
know the
sir.
name. I just see them coming across. That's what I'm saying. I like football, basketball,
Yes, sir.
uh, and just random sports. I'll watch something random. Baseball, I tried and tried to watch it. Not really my thing. But when I see the contracts, I said, hold up.
Yes, sir. Right,
When I see
right.
some of the contracts,
Yes,
hold
sir.
up there.
They
Somebody
get
get
money,
paid how
brother.
much?
And they probably work the hardest too.
Yeah, see, good. And even soccer. Some of them soccer players, man, them people
Yes,
getting
sir.
paid. I'm like, I don't know why we don't just if it's for money. And I'm like, if everybody just get out the hood, I'm like, well, baseball players get paid, soccer players get
Yeah.
hockey players. I'm assuming hockey players get paid. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes, sir.
all right.
Baseball, definitely though. They
Baseball, I'm
definitely in
literally
the
if somebody
bag.
got paid like
Yes,
seven
sir.
hundred something million this year, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm saying. I saw it. I was like, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we wanted to ask you about your favorite album of all time, sir.
Does it have to be a Luther
No,
album?
sir. No, no, they didn't.
Oh, my favorite album of all time probably is going to be Tupac, Me Against the World.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you saying one of the songs was on there was like, and Lord knows, and Lord knows, and Lord
Yeah. Lord
knows. Yeah.
knows. Yes, sir. Lord knows.
Yeah. Lord knows one of my favorite songs. You can't go wrong with Me Against the World.
Right? So many tears,
So many tears. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
temptation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Never through the years. Shed so
yeah.
many
You
tears.
can't go wrong with Me Against the World for sure. All right. That's a unique album of because if people say Tupac, most of the time they say All Eyes on Me. So Me Against the World is definitely right there. So that's a great one.
Okay.
All right, and our next question for you, sir, is what would you like your legacy to be, brother Robert?
Um, I would like for my legacy to be known as being a brother.
Mm.
Just being a brother. That's it, brother. If I could leave a legacy of being a brother, then I've done my job.
Praise be to the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Okay, but yes, sir. But hold on, one more question. We were experiencing some technical opportunities to, some technical solutions that we were dealing with before we went live, and you said you mentioned your wife. How
Yes.
important has your wife been to your success?
Whew. Very, very, very. She has been very important to the little success that I have, and I don't take it for granted. But just say that with all humility. Um, my wife, she's been the stronghold. She's been the stronghold, and without a good woman, you could never be a complete man.
Mm.
That would never happen. That would never happen because what she's going to do is force you to be the man that God wants you to be. A godly woman, you know. And even times she may do it subliminally, but it's happening.
Yes,
You
sir. Yes, sir.
call it nagging or, you know, at once I've been married now 22 years, may it be 23, by Allah's permission. And you learn as you grow, you can't win every argument.
Yes,
Some-
sir.
Sometimes you just gotta let them win.
Yes,
E-
sir. Yes,
Even though
sir.
even though you don't agree, just let them win. You don't go back and forth. It's never going to work when you got two women in the house.
Yes, sir. Mm.
One is a real woman, and one is transitioning, into a woman. If you stay in the mirror longer than your woman, it ain't gonna last long. She gonna start looking at you funny. But yeah, I thank Allah for my wife, man. She's been an amazing wife, an amazing mother to our children.
Yeah.
struggled. We struggled, uh, still struggling, still progressing, learning, maturing. We look at 22 years, but it ain't a whole long time, man. I wanna grow old with this woman I'm married to. I want to grow old with her. Yeah. Um, she's helped me out in more ways than she know. She has. She has.
Okay. So, Brother Robert,
She
so
not I thank a lot for her. I thank a lot for her, but I would never make my wife my God. I ain't
mm,
gonna say, baby, I don't know what I'd do without you and all of that. I can't, I'm not gonna do that.
yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
I'm very grateful, brother. Very grateful, thankful.
Beautiful. Brother Tony D said that's my cousin. You were his first officer when he was in Durham. Great values. Excellent. Thank you. And thank you, Brother Tony D, for showing love to the People's Podcast. So, so yes, sir. So you're saying that uh, you're a balanced FOI, balanced man. Yeah.
I'm learning.
Yes, sir. You got
I'm
baseball,
learning.
working, do for stuff, but
Yeah.
still know how to uplift your woman, not make her a god. That's the kind of training, teacher training we all need, Brother Robert.
Yes, sir. I'm learning. I've learned. I'm learning balance now. One of the gravest mistakes that I've made in my life is when I resigned um, from being the first officer. It's probably the
Mm,
biggest mistake that I've ever made in my life,
mm,
and not because of position, but because it required me to be responsible. And I want to say this to anybody that's watching or in leadership or just being a brother. Don't stop. Don't ever stop. I don't care how hard it gets. Don't ever stop. Don't ever quit. It's not good and it will haunt you. Because what
mm.
happens is once you stop being responsible in that manner, then other things come into play. And it
Mm.
occupies that time, I'm sorry, excuse me,
Yes, sir. Right here with you.
that time that even though, man, I gotta get to the mosque, I gotta do this, it's getting heavy. You can handle it, man. You can handle it. Don't quit. Don't quit. And don't be around people who encourage you to quit. Don't do that. But yeah, I forgot what your question was, man. I just wanted to get on that point. What
Oh,
was your
yes, sir. I
question?
was just complimenting for the balance. We was discussing balance.
Yeah, balance. But yeah, that's and I didn't have a lot of balance then because my wife was suffering.
Mm,
My family was suffering because I was always at the mosque, always at the mosque. But being an officer, you have to find balance. You have to make balance. You have to make balance. The times that you are not at the mosque, sometimes you gotta get a brother to cover down so you can take your family out to the movies, so you can take your family out to dinner, or so
yes,
you
sir.
can just simply be home with your family. You know, yeah. But bottom line is don't quit. Don't quit.
Yes, sir.
Take too much to start back up when you quit. Just slow down a little bit. At least you still got a pace. You could keep going. But if you stop, you gotta start all the way back up again. Yeah.
Beautiful teaching, Brother Robert. And yes, sir. And thank you to everybody who's watching and continues to show love to the People's Podcast from all around the world. On that positive note, this is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. We thank Allah for you, Brother Robert, and the many sacrifices you made for your family and the sacrifices of your family. We salute your wife and your children. And
Yes.
man, yes, sir. I look forward to meeting with speaking with you in person again and
Yes, sir.
meeting your family one day, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Last point. Everybody who likes good music and high quality entertainment, how can we support you with the Luther Vandross tribute?
Go to Eventbrite and buy some tickets. That's how you can support. If you can't, if you're out of town and can't make it, there's no need in buying tickets. That's a waste of money. But you can support. I just sent you a flyer, Brother Joshua. If you could just promote that flyer on social media, on your social media page, or whatever you have, your emails, your phone list, whatever you have, if you could just promote that flyer and promote the show, that would be a great help. That would be a great help. But if you're local, buy a ticket and come to the show.
Yes, sir. Well, on that high note, this is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Walaikum salam. Thank you, brother Joshua.
Thank you, Will Robert, and thank you all for watching.
In the words of your father, love you, soldier.
I love you more, sir.